Hey Fish Tank people, it's John 3107-2000. First and foremost, I want to apologize for all the stupid noise that's going on around. I have two ACs and a big fan right here blowing right behind me. I apologize. Plus I have 7 tanks in this room all running filters and everything. A little bit noisy. I apologize. Other than that, this is done on my phone. A lot of it's dark. I apologize. I'm trying to figure out a better solution than the camera I have, because it takes me like 27 hours to upload a video. It's retarded, but whatever. Anyhow, on with the update. This is an update for my 55-gallon Planet. I have a second 55-gallon that I was given when I can afford the $60 for the Eco Complete to go on the bottom. I'm going to. I really wanted to do a dirt tank. To be honest with you, I just don't have the balls. Flat out, I just don't. I don't really want to deal with putting it in there and running this perfect and filling it perfect and planning it perfect, and otherwise you have a catastrophe on your hands. And I just don't want to have to worry about draining it 8 times the first 2 days. I just don't want to deal with that. I can just pop open Eco Complete and put it in my tank. It's so much easier. So yeah, I think that's where we're gonna go, is the $60 for that. I finally got one of my CO2 setups going. This is a dual bottle setup. You can see quick change. You can see the check valves right there, kind of in the dark. I have another complete setup to 2 liters plus a smaller bottle. I think it's either a 20 or 16 ounce bottle. I think it was apple juice, with a larger top, so I can drill the 3 holes in it that I need for this. Check valves, that's what I'm missing. 2 check valves to finish it. And as soon as I do, it'll go on the other side of the tank, and it's run through. I would love to give the person credit who I saw this on. It's not mine. I forgot where I saw it. I tried to look for it so I could give the guy credit. It's on YouTube. I wish I remembered your name. I am sincerely sorry, because I'd love to give you credit where credit is due. He basically told me to bore a hole in the bottom of this and run the air hose straight up into the bottom right next to the impeller, and basically every bubble that comes out gets caught in the impeller driving the power head, so it gets chopped up there and then forced through 2 different tubes, which breaks it out more. And you can see it's running. Actually, you can't see it's running, but there we go. You can see it's running about a bubble a second. You can barely make that coming out of there, which is awesome, which means you're going to get better rate of dissolve in your tank for the CO2, which means it'll get to the plants better. You just got to watch out about gassing your fish. Pay attention to that. If you don't know anything about it, please research that. But basically what's going to go on is over here on this side of the tank, the exact same thing. The double bottle setup, the whole 9, exactly the same. Over on this side, my farther well on the back. But yeah, through another AquaClear 20 I bought 2 of them from Petco on rebate. Dirt cheap. I think I paid $8 for each of them. So I'm going to run it in exactly the same way and have it on this side of the tank. One setup is not going to be enough for a 55. Let me just say that off the muscle. Even with the 2 bottle setup, it will not be enough for a 55. This is where pretty much all of my tanks, other than my 20-gallon Planet with the neons in it, is. So that's why I have 2 ACs in here and a big fan that I can't really afford to turn off. I didn't have them in yesterday. I put them in last night, and my tanks were bordering 90 degrees, every single one of them. So yeah. Not to mention, not just that, I have bottles frozen in the freezer, just different size soda bottles, water bottles, whatever. Fill them up 3/4 of the way full, pop them in your freezer, and if your house gets hot like mine, you're a lazy bum who didn't want to put your AC units in yet. No, it's still too early. We're still in May, but that's okay. We got them in last night after I got home and realized all my tanks were at 90 degrees. I went, uh-oh, we're gonna have some dead fish. Luckily we haven't. It didn't melt any of my plants. All my plants are growing. One I actually want to get a good shot of is this. I don't know what the plant is called, but basically I'm going to try to, that whole top piece right there, I'm trying just to get it in frame. That whole piece is new within the last week. It was down to that. That's what I planted. It didn't even have that little runner stem going up with this other life last week. That's within a week. Because it was under all these Amazon leaves. And now it's not. So that's kind of how I could tell. But I can't believe how fast that's growing. That one, it's the same plant here. This was pretty much a dead stem when I put it in the ground. Same with this one, pretty much a dead stem when I put it in the ground. About probably 2 weeks ago, to be fair. That lily right here was had one, maybe 2 leaves on it. When I replanted it over here, had real good roots, I will say that. And I've always heard from Dustin's fish tanks that you know, if your plant has good roots, it will continue to grow. And yeah, kudos to him, because wow, yeah, has it, yeah, I can speak. But yeah, I have more of that other plant right there on the side, and it's not growing so well. It is on top, but other than that, it's not growing so well, and I think it's because it's hidden by that lily plant. The plant next to it seems to be doing okay, which looks a lot like the bigger leafed plant, but I don't believe they are the same plant. I believe they are 2 different species of plants. I wish I wasn't such an idiot. I would tell you, I know that's Java fern, and that's Amazon sword, and that's Amazon, whoa, that's Amazon sword, that's Anubis. More of the other one. I don't know what this big leaf plant is. I know it can't be without light, because it started to die when my other light died. And I don't know what this plant right here in front is. I'm not sure what that is either. But that can grow floating. Here's a good picture of it. Oh, well, a little close. There's a good picture of it floating. Just floats right on top of my tank. Seems to grow well. And that's all the same stalk. And seems to grow decent out of the ground as well. But I have a bunch of little plants right here in front of this log. Lots of Java fern, lots of Anubis, Java fern tied to that, lots of Java moss there, Java moss on a leaf there, Java moss just covering the back corner of the tank. And ironically, this was just a little patch, probably smaller patch than what's on this leaf. It wasn't on anything, it had just broken off of that patch that I had in the back. It had just broken off, so I actually put it on with a rock on the back of that log over here, and it basically grew to, I don't know if I'm gonna really get it real well, but it grew to the whole back corner, kinda surrounding that grass. But just figured I'd do another update. Another week has gone by, so figured I'd run the update, show you. I have a lot of growth in this tank. Just water changes, dosing it with the API Leaf Zone and the Kent Marine Pro Plant. CO2, D.I.Y CO2. I'm going to be putting a second one on this side to grab all those plants, which don't seem to be not growing, but that should help. And it's definitely helping this side. So, everything. I mean, if you look at those two Anubis plants, just look how lush and green those are. That one too. And you come over here, and this one is lush and green and big because it's huge. It goes all the way, wraps around the back of that Amazon. This thing's huge. And everything else is a stem of this plant. But there's a lot of yellow leaves. It's not the bright, pungent green. There's a little bit of yellow tinge to it. Just not as vibrant as... But damn, these guys right here. Those two right there, and that one to a certain degree, but the two up front, probably because they're right under the CO2, but those two right there seem to be growing like banshees and just nice and vibrant and bright. Every time I walk by this tank, I'm like, damn, look at that. Same with this Java fern right here. It's growing huge. Nice, healthy. Another of the big leaf plants in the back. Anubis on the bottom. I'm not sure what the stem. It's the exact same plant as, whoops, a little too close, as that one right there. That's not an Amazon. I know that much. It may be crypt. It might be that. I remember I bought some. But 2 pieces of wood. That one right there with my CPO crawling over it. And this big one over here. I have some terracotta heads that